our fifth item on the top menu, we'll be looking at color temperature. You can scroll right to warm your image's color, or you can scroll left to cool it down. When you're shooting with these large raw files, this is something you can manipulate in post, or if you need to have a nice image so that your director can see on set what the color is going to look like, it's good to adjust your color temperature. So when in the sixth menu on our top menu system, you'll be adjusting the format. The highest on the Red Raven is a 4.5K. You can adjust to a 4.5K widescreen. When you switch this up, you got to give your camera a second to reformat itself. And then you can go all the way down to 2K high def. And you can see how it's framed and set up differently with the frame guides. For the last item on our top menu system, you'll be looking at the compression ratios. When you go lower, a 2:1 is virtually lossless compression, but your file size will be massive. When shooting something like an interview, typically we try to stay around an 8:1 to a 10:1 to save file size, but also to keep quality. And then if you're shooting sports or a live event like a public speaker, maybe you can go up to like about a 14:1. Anything past that, your image really starts to fall apart. All the way up to a 22:1, which would make your files much smaller. Also notice when you are working with your compression ratio, we have 3 hours on our solid state drive or our SSD when we're at the very highest compression rate. As we turn that down, we can see that at a 12:1 from a 22:1, we are now at an hour and a half on our SSD. And then if I go all the way down to a 2:1, we're only getting 16 minutes, whereas we were getting 3 hours when we were shooting at a 22:1. If you see that your colors are falling off to the left on the goalpost or off to the right, as we can see as our reds are doing right here, then you will not be gaining that information. You'll either be crushing your blacks too far down, or you'll be blowing out your whites to the highlights. So you'll lose information if your goalpost doesn't have the colors centered inside. Okay, when we're in playback mode, we can see that we have 2 files here that we have shot. Over to the right, you have all your metadata, so you can see how you shot these clips. Looking at this top one, we shot in red code raw, 25 frames per second, on a time base of 25 frames per second, so it is not a high-speed shot, meaning it would have been acquiring audio. At 2K HD, red code with a compression is an 8:1. It even will tell us how long the clip is and how many frames we have in the clip at 25 frames per second. So we have 336 frames. ISO at 800, the Kelvin or the temperature is roughly 4200. Let's look at the other clip. This one, the time base was 23.986. On the next clip, the time base was 23.98 with a frame rate of 59.94, so it'll be a high-speed shot converted, meaning that it will not have audio. The format is a 4.5K full frame. Red code or the compression, 16:1. When we started, when we stopped, the duration, 32 seconds. The number of frames, 777. ISO 800, Kelvin or temperature, 4200. Now if I want to view either of these clips, I got to click load, and then it'll pull that shot up.